It is Friday. It's the 10th of January. I'm Monita Rajpal. This is CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. Our top stories today. French President François Hollande says he's considering taking legal action against a magazine after it claimed he's been having an affair with an actress. The story appears in Friday's edition of the French magazine Closer with the headline reading, "The President's Secret Love." It's accompanied by alleged photos of the pair outside a Parisian apartment. The actress in question is the French TV and film star Julie Gaillet. Let's take you now to Paris, where we join CNN's Jim Bitterman with more on this. Jim, I guess one of the first questions I would ask is, are people in France even surprised by this?
Well, not very much, I wouldn't say, Monita, because of the fact that the president has never been married. And
all right, Jim, thank you for that. Jim Bitterman there live for us from Paris. One car bomb, 2 deadly suicide attacks, 6 suspicious deaths, all in the past 2 weeks in southern Russia as it prepares to host one of the world's largest sporting events. The Winter Olympic Games will begin in the resort city of Sochi in just 28 days, but a recent wave of violence in the region is prompting major security concerns, forcing Russian security teams to mount a huge anti-terrorism sweep of the area. Well, let's get you more on this story with our Nick Robertson, who joins us now from Moscow. Nick, what more is known about these suspicious deaths or these bodies that were found?
There are a few more details, Monita, but nothing at the moment that the security officials are saying.
Right, Nick, thank you. Nick Robertson there live for us from Moscow. A hospital near Tel Aviv says Ariel Sharon's family members are not leaving his bedside as his health continues to worsen. The former Israeli prime minister suffered a stroke in 2006 and has been in a coma ever since. Doctors say he's now experiencing multiple organ failure. Senior international correspondent Ben Wiedemann has more now from Jerusalem.
Former Israeli Prime Minister Ariel Sharon's health took a turn for the worse Thursday. CNN, Jerusalem.
You are watching CNN News Central live from Hong Kong. Angry protests, criminal charges, and a diplomatic row that has strained ties between Washington and New Delhi. Now, the woman at the center of it all is on her way back to India. Diplomat Devyani Khobragade was arrested and strip-searched by U.S. agents and later indicted for visa fraud. Sumnima Udas joins us now from New Delhi with more on this. Sumnima, so she's on her way now to India. What can she expect from being back home? All right, Sumnima, thank you. Sumnima Udas there live for us from New Delhi. Let's bring you up to date on some of the other stories we're following for you here at CNN News Center. A senior investigator dubbed Pakistan's toughest cop has been killed in Karachi. Chaudhry Aslam was at the forefront of operations targeting the Taliban. We're getting news just in to CNN. The Central African Republic's interim president, Michel Jodia, has resigned. He has been under pressure as more than 1,000 people have been killed in violence in the country and more than 1 million have been displaced. Former Cuban leader Fidel Castro has made his first public appearance in 9 months. He attended the opening of an art studio in Havana. The 87-year-old Universal Studios is meeting with the stars and production team of the blockbuster Fast and Furious movies later today to talk about the franchise's future. Star Paul Walker died in a high-speed car crash in November. He and the rest of the cast were on a break from filming the 7th film in the series. Its release has now been pushed back to April 2015. 2 England cricketers have saved a man from jumping off a bridge in Sydney, Australia. Matt Pryor and Stuart Broad were returning from a charity event late Wednesday with team security officer Terry Minish. Watching CNN News Centre live from Hong Kong. Watching an extended edition of CNN News Centre live from Hong Kong. I'm Monita Rajpal. In Venezuela, police have arrested 7 suspects in the murder of a beauty queen earlier this week. Thousands of mourners attended a wake for Miss Venezuela 2004, Monica Spear. She and her ex-husband were shot dead by robbers on Monday. Now to the New Jersey bridge scandal that's ensnared that state's governor and potential Republican presidential candidate Christie. He held a nearly 2-hour news conference on Thursday. He announced that he was blindsided and humiliated by revelations that a former top aide and political editor Paul Steinhauser joins us now from Washington. And Paul, you were tweeting earlier today that this kind kind of ignorance that Christie is saying that he didn't have any idea what was going on certainly isn't a really good excuse for what actually happened.
Yeah, and it could also call into question his leadership ability, right?
Certainly, politics is not an easy game to play, that's for sure. Paul, thank you very much for being with us there. Paul Steinhauser there live for us from Washington. Now, meanwhile, much of the U.S., as we look thinking about all the cold feelings that Christie is sensing right now, well, much of the country is thawing out from the big freeze that they've had earlier this week. Our meteorologist Mari Ramos is at the World Weather Center with more on that. Mari?
Hey, Monita. Yeah, definitely quite a change in the weather. We'll be complaining about how hot it is. And back to you.
Mari, thank you very much for that. You are watching CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. Nearly 2 decades ago, a White House commission predicted an airliner would crash almost every week somewhere in the world. Well, there have been a number of high-profile crashes in the past year. We'll take a look at why that dire prediction has not come true. Stay with us. Ever flown, the pilot may tell you at the end of the flight that the most dangerous part of your journey is now beginning, the drive home. Renee Marsh takes a closer look at whether flying really is safer than being on the road.
A camera rolling when a Russian airliner crashed and exploded.
A list of the world's safest airlines was released on Thursday with a full 7 stars. Australian carrier Qantas comes in at the top of the list as being the world's safest airline to fly. More now on a story we brought you earlier on in the show. The Central African Republic's interim president has resigned. Michel Djotodia has been under pressure as more than 1,000 people have been killed in violence in the country and more than 1 million have been displaced. CNN's Vladimir Duthiers joins us now from Lagos in Nigeria with more on this development. Vlad?
Hi, Monita. As you said, the violence has reached unprecedented levels in the Central African Republic. Now,
all right, Vladimir, thank you very much for that. Vladimir Duthiers reporting to us there live from Lagos. You are watching CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. Welcome back. One of China's most famous directors is facing a massive fine for having 3 children. Zhang Yimou has been ordered to pay $1.2 million after breaching the country's family planning laws. He and his wife have admitted to having 2 sons and a daughter. In December, Zhang wrote an open letter apologizing for his, quote, excessive children. Anna, it's interesting because it was just recently that Beijing has been talking about relaxing those that one child policy that they have. So where is this coming from?
Yeah, absolutely. The government actually relaxed those laws, those one-child policy laws at the end of...
Anna, thank you. Anna Corin there live for us from Beijing. Now to a story of extraordinary courage that led to the ultimate sacrifice. A teenager in Pakistan who had his whole life ahead of him stepped in harm's way to save his fellow schoolmates from a suicide bomber. As Simon Mosen reports, he's being hailed around the world as a hero.
Etizaz Hassan Bangash was on his way to school when he died, stopping a suicide bomber to save the lives of his school friends.
You're watching CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. Coming up, we're tracking the ivory trade in the final part of our exclusive series from the Republic of Congo. You're watching an extended edition of CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. And all this week on CNN, senior international correspondent Arwa Damon has been bringing us special reports on the battle against poaching in Central Africa. In the last of our exclusive series, Tracking the Ivory Trade, Arwa, photographer Peter Rodden, and producer Brent Swales are in Odzala National Park in the Republic of Congo. Take a look.
Arwa Damon, CNN, Odzala National Park, Republic of Congo.
And Arwa joins us now live from London. Arwa, as correspondent for CNN, you've been to the most dangerous places in the world, but you've also experienced some of the most interesting things as well. Give us an idea what this experience has been like for you producing and being part of this series.
Well, I think the big takeaway for our entire team was this sense of appreciation as to just how difficult.
All right, Arwa, thank you very much for that. Arwa Damon there joining us live from London. And speaking of endangered species, the giant panda is also extremely at risk in its native China. With less than 2,000 left in the world, the United States has become a leading player in trying to preserve this species. Tom Foreman visited a young panda in Washington.
Oh, she's so warm. At just 17 pounds, 5-month-old Bao Bao is already a heavyweight in the world of conservation.
And staying with the animal theme, from kangaroos to wombats, Australia is known for its distinctive fauna, and now there's a new creature to add to that list. It all started with a little girl's letter to Australia's Scientific and Industrial Research Organization. You're watching CNN News Centre. I'm Monita Rajpal, live at CNN Hong Kong. Thank you for joining us. I'll update you the news headlines in just a few minutes.